Hello and welcome back to Harmonic Hands. I have been working on a piece for one of my students and I picked this piece out for him, and I wanted to go through some of the notes that I took first, and I will do my best to explain everything. Okay, I hope that as the viewer you can see this well. So the first thing I want to do is I want to point out, I'm also keeping an eye on the camera to make sure that it's focusing. I was having some issues recording videos on my computer the other day, so I want to make sure it's focused. So right here there's some red marks, I'm sure you can see, and I put a little away arrow because we're going to rotate the opposite direction of where we're going first, and then I have a little towards. This is a little rainbow shape, which I will demonstrate, but basically when you use your arm certain ways, it can help you create different sounds, obviously. So these little red marks just show that we have some common notes in the left hand throughout, and that over here we have these two common notes. It's going to be important to point out that this middle note is different from these middle notes. So make sure to point that out. I want to talk about right hand real quick. And I actually need to change this directional arrow. I was making some of these notes after I had basically for 2 hours been trying to make videos unsuccessfully, so I was a little tired. Okay, so right hand over here, I have some red marks and red marks over here because these are also common notes. Now, because we have to move, we need to measure, and we also don't want to just feel like we're up in the air searching for the notes. So there's ways to do that. And I think what we're going to do is we're going to measure from this note that finger 3 is playing. So this G, finger 3 is playing it. And then it turns into a finger 5. Finger 5 is now going to play that G. See how the middle note turns into the top note. So we're going to feel that there's a finger replacement on that G. We're not going to play the finger replacement, but we're going to feel our 3 becoming a finger 5, and then our hand will be set up for this 5-note pattern right here. Well, the 5-note finger pattern is what I mean. And again, I can demonstrate those things. And then over here, I didn't highlight these because I should, though. So let me highlight those common notes. Let me get my colored pencil, which is right here. These two are common notes to these two over here. And then again, you know, we have all these 3 notes are common notes. Okay, now we're looking at kind of the bottom of the first page. And we see that our pattern comes back. Now, we have a finger 3. I'm going to go back up. This E has a finger 3 on it. So look down here, measure 10. We need to find this position again. So we're going to feel that our 3 is going to turn into a 1. So let me write that in actually. So 3 becomes a finger 1. And what I like to do when I'm writing these kinds of notes, I like to kind of 3, and then I draw a little arrow to 1. So like a 3 becomes a 1. Three becomes a 1. Okay. Now, for over here, measuring from here to here, we're going to do the same thing that we did here, where this 3 on that G now becomes this finger 5 on the G. And we're going to do the same thing. So I'm going to write that in. So we have 3 turns into 5. And it's just little arrows basically. So a 3, finger 3 is going to turn into a finger 5. And I'm going to highlight the common notes because those are helpful. And some of this work you can do, actually a lot, majority of this work, you can kind of do away from the piano. So if you're a traveler or you and the kids are going to go somewhere for Christmas break, you can still bring your music, even if there's not a piano, and study your music. Okay, so then this kind of matches this over here. So we've already practiced that. Now, down here, we're on a finger 3, and we're going to keep that finger 2 right here. But the way we're going to find it is we're going to feel like I put here an imaginary finger 1. So we're going to feel, because this is a 3 and our finger 1 is a third away from the third finger, our 1's already going to be on that C natural, and our 2 is just going to sit on top of that C sharp right there. And that's going to be really easy. Now over here on the left hand, I highlighted common note, and I'll highlight more common notes, common note, common note. So now our finger 3 on this D sharp, oh, it's just not focusing that well. Our finger 3 on this D sharp is now going to turn into a finger 2 on that D sharp because it's just a common note. So we're going to switch from 3 to 2. Let's turn the page. Oops. There goes my pencil. Okay, I'm going to grab that. Oh, okay. All right, so then again we have on this next page, right here, on this next page we have right here, finger 3 is now going to turn into a finger 1. So we're going to feel the 3 turning into a finger 1, and then we don't have to move again because we have that 2 on that F sharp and it's already there. We don't have to move this right hand again until here, where this note is going to bounce us to this note. This note over here bounces us to this note over here. Okay. Now, you're going to ask me when this left hand from here to here, how are we going to find that finger 5? Well, once again, I'll put in here, feel an imaginary 2 on E, feel imaginary 2 on E, turn into a finger 5. And again, I can demonstrate all of these things. But since E is a 4th up from here to here, and you can ask your student, what is that interval? And hopefully they'll say it's a 4th. But your finger 2, since finger 2 is a 4th up from 5, it's already going to be resting on top of that note. So just replace it with a finger 5, and you're good to go. Over here, from this note is just going to bounce you to this note. So as soon as right hand's done, it's going to zap on over, and it's just going to bounce you from one location to the next. Oops. And or, you know, since finger 1 to finger 4 is a 4th away, you could always feel an imaginary 4 to 1. Four to 1. And then the music, doesn't it look pretty similar to the beginning? I would say so. In fact, I would say it's pretty much exactly the same as the beginning. Now this is just a step up, so you can write, you know, from, it's just a step up. And then 2 is a half step below, so you're going to think 1, 2, finger 2, half step below. Think a half step below. And we're already ready to go. We've got a common note from here, this B, to that B, so we're all set up for that. This note is going to zap you over here. So nice arrow, zap. It just bounces you. And that's the piece. Those are my notes for this piece. So there's a lot of common notes, there's a lot of zapping, imaginary finger replacements, and this poor book has just really been abused. I am sorry, Robert Vandall. Oh gosh, I didn't even introduce. This is Celebrated Virtuosic Solos, Book 1 by Robert Vandall. And I find a lot of the pieces to be really interesting and good for training a beginner student to use, you know, imaginary fingers, a little more lateral arm, and I think it's just great. All right, thank you for watching, and I hope you find this helpful. If you did, please subscribe.